The movie Egg of Life was released in the year 2003. The movie begins with a scene that shows a group of children sitting around an older man and asking that he tells them a story. After so much deliberations, the old man agrees to tell them an ancient story, which dates back as far as the times of their forefathers, in a kingdom called Umuago and in the royal household of Ebubechi. The next scene begins the story proper. It shows a king who seemed very anxious at the prolonged labor of his queen, who had been barren for 9 years. Soon after the male child was born, the priestess of the kingdom, Priestess Efuru, arrived at the palace to bestow the blessing of the Efuru goddess on the little prince. The next part of the movie shows the young prince, who has now grown into a little boy, playing with some spirits like children, while his physical form remained asleep on his bed. These children are referred to as Obanje in the Igbo culture, which means children who die repeatedly and are continually reincarnated and born to the same parents. In this scene, the children can be seen speaking about the evils they will perform on any family they are sent to live with. In the scenes that follow, Prince Nkemefuna can be seen hanging out with the Obanje children, and as a result of this, exhibiting some weird traits physically, which makes his mother worried. Another scene opens up to show the queen voicing out her worries to the king about the prince's strange behavior. But he shrugs off her concerns and advises her to worry less. 8 years later, the prince has grown into a teenager and now enjoys living with his family. But the Obanje spirits want him back and refused to stop pressuring him, even after he pleaded with them to give him extra time. Soon, Nkemefuna can no longer withstand the coercion from the spirit children and is forced to leave his body to join them. He passes out in front of his mother, who alerts the entire kingdom. Because of this, the palace is thrown into chaos. The priestess hears of his coma and hurries to the palace. She informs his parents that he is indeed an Obanje child. She goes on to tell them that the only means of saving the prince's life is venturing into the evil forest to retrieve the life oath he took in the Obanje kingdom and have it brought back to the palace. The king offers to send out his best warriors on the mission, but she makes it clear that the task can only be executed by maidens who are virgins and are also pure in heart. Afterwards, an announcement is made throughout the entire village, requesting that all virgin maidens should report to the palace the following day. In the last scenes, the chosen virgins can be seen expressing their fears to their close relatives, who then console and encourage them. The following day, the virgins are addressed by both the king and the priestess on the importance of the mission. Then the priestess fortifies them spiritually before they bid their families goodbye and depart. The scene opens to show the 7 virgins making their way through the evil forest. Some of them can be heard grumbling and expressing their doubts about the realism of the task ahead, while the others try to encourage them. As they move further into the forest, they are attacked by an evil spirit. They barely survive the attack, but they push forward irrespective. In the next scene, they are attacked once again by some demons, and unfortunately, one of the virgins, Chioma, loses her life. As they venture deeper into the forest, another maiden, Amaka, dies in a river filled with evil spirits. The girls become cranky and scared. They voice out their fears to one another, and they lament their desires to return home. The journey continues, and another maiden, Isioma, dies in their attempt to cross the river of the dead. Her death was as a result of her disobedience. As the girls journey on, they mourn their lost friends and promise to stick together to get out alive. Meanwhile, the elders of the Obanje kingdom sensed the presence of the young maidens and sent out some of their soldiers to attack and stop them from completing their mission. In the next scene, a little child is seen standing all alone in the woods and crying for help. The maidens stop in front of him, but are not setting about helping him or not. When they remember the instructions given to them by the priestess to ignore whatever they see in the forest, they decide to ignore the child and move on. But Ego, who is also one of the maidens, goes back to help the child. The supposed child turns into an evil spirit and kills her. With just 3 of them left, the girls are left in so much doubt as to if they will ever get out alive. This causes them to vent their frustrations on one another. The next scene opens up to show the king expressing his fears to the priestess and asking her to check how soon the girls would arrive. In response, she requests that he remains calm and exercise patience, as the question was beyond her. The scenes that follow show the girls trying to avoid being deceived or killed by the demons in the forest. But Nkem gets killed before long, leaving only Buchi and Oma to finish the task. Finally, when the girls find the egg, they fight off so many demons before making it out of the forest. Buchi sustains serious injuries, but still makes it to the palace alive with the help of Oma. She dies in Oma's arms after she hands over the egg to the priestess. The priestess performs some ritual with the egg, which brings Nkemefuna back to life. The king expresses his gratitude and betroths Oma to the prince as promised.